Um, I would like to call the meeting of the Rogers Lake Authority to order at
7:32.
7:32.
Perfect.
Approval of the minutes. Did you all have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any additions or corrections?
I don't have it. No, I'm set.
Okay. In that case, I would like to have approval of the meetings of September 10, 2025.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as submitted. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes of the special meeting, September 30th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I appreciate the attendance of that on short notice. All right. To move to review of expenditures. Actually, the period expenditure for September, we had $200 in clerical fees. That's because, we had an extra meeting. We had 2 meetings. Seasonal employment is about what I expected. There'll be about another $300 charged. We have 8 hours that were missing from the last sort of shifts, and Sonny pulled the boat, and we pay him to do that. So we'll have those.
Mm-hmm.
There's the 108 is gas charges, which come in lag a little. We should have, that should be it for the year. We have not gotten the winterization bill yet, so that's usually about $500 to $1,000. Any question on the expenditures?
So 76.76%, well, let's say 75%. That's plenty for May and June? Of
Yes.
Next year?
Yeah, for sure. We're
Very good.
the $6,000. The things I watch are the $6,000 for the seasonal employment. We're comfortable there.
Mhm.
The testing's under contract. The weed survey actually may go over that number, depending upon how things fall. We did get a carryover because we didn't do the weed spray. So I applied for a carryover, which I believe was granted.
Mhm.
I'd have to check that, but I believe it was. So I think we're in good shape.
Good.
Going forward.
Okay.
Okay. The newsletters in the spring and the boat expenses should be fine for putting the boat back in the water. Development of the rapid response for invasive species. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to arrange a meeting, and by the time I thought about it, I think someone was in Italy. So that would have made it, I would have gone, but on that note, though, I did do, and I sent an email on this, I took a paddle up the creek just to check things. And
Is that where that picture came from?
yeah,
Okay.
my friends of mine were down over the weekend, and they're both into they're naturalists is too glossy a word. Anyhow, they like to know what they're walking through. So we went for a hike, and they were taking pictures of everything. And they have this little program called Seek on their iPhones, and it will do almost any plant that you walk by. If you just reach down and take a picture of it, it'll sort to find out what it thinks it is. And I thought, well, I'll just try it in the water, without pulling it out. And it took the picture and identified it perfectly. And luckily, I chose something I knew what it was. So, so you might, Actually, I might, if I ever get around to it, I'd like to go over and find some hydrilla over in Hamburger Cove or someplace, just to see if it would identify that at well, because that would let us, that'd be a nice certain, a good first step to know it.
And what angles you need at that. I mean, I pulled something out of the water by our dog, and I went, oh, no, and then I counted, oh, well, it's okay, but you need to look carefully, the number of, I forget what they're called, but if you look down the stem, they're effectively leaves, but there's another name for it.
Yeah, but no, then there's 5, right? Or,
Now I'm forgetting.
yeah. No, I was concerned about that because I thought I went by one that looked like it to me, but I circled around and it wasn't. But it might be a good tool for us.
Mhm.
There are a
Um,
couple of apps like that. We had Leapwalkie, I think.
Yeah,
And I think we dropped it because you have to pay for it.
this is totally free.
Okay.
And then Google Lens, we just Google and you hit Lens, that can be pretty effective.
That's effective as well, yeah.
That was what I used when I saw something by the dock, wanted to test it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I used. I just did Google image.
Mark,
Brought it right up.
a friend of mine belongs to the yacht club down in Hamburger Cove.
Oh, yeah?
So I can ask her if anyone has noticed any before you go down there.
Oh, I know there's some down there.
Yeah,
Is
that,
At the yacht club?
Oh, I don't know if it's at the yacht club. It's
well,
in
Selkirk
Denver.
Creek
Oh.
is packed with it. And
Yeah.
that's not, that's just
How do you
yeah.
get there?
by boat. I mean.
Yeah, I think you got to cut.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The island, I mean, obviously you need a boat to get to the island. And
Yeah,
the creek, the north end of the creek, there's a house right there, but it's a private property.
property, yeah.
And the south end of the creek, I think the same situation.
If
There's a
it was
lovely
at the
house.
yacht club, you don't have to vote.
Yeah.
I'll ask her.
You might ask
I'll
her.
ask
Ask her if it's there.
I'll ask Christine.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there a conservation property there? Because the yacht club and then north of the yacht club is the, Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
And then south of the yacht club is Camp Claire.
Yep.
Which are,
But there are houses on the cove side near Camp Claire.
Yeah.
I think Whalebone Cove has it as well, but I'm not sure how accessible that is. Public property.
Jill, yeah, if you could check
I'll
out
ask
to that. Yeah,
Shoot her a text.
because it'd be nice to know if that worked for that application. We still do need to get together. I'm going away for 2 weeks, so
Oh, somewhere good.
Greece. You went to Italy, so I got to go to Greece.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so
I mean, we've got time before the.
Yeah, we do. We've got some
But,
time.
but then.
Yeah, it just
it's
keeps
less opaque,
rolling,
it's,
yeah.
Then there's the holidays there,
Yeah.
so it'd be good to. I think we had a checklist that was sent out by, that was in attachment to one of the Federational Lakes.
Yeah, no, I think that we've got a good,
It's a good foundation to start with.
yeah,
And if we compare that with what we've done, you could say, oh, we've done that, that's great, we've done that, oh, we need to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
is everyone who goes out, which I think is the two of you, maybe Dick sometimes, are you good with volunteering your time? I was thinking about this earlier today, like, should you be paid like 20, I mean, not that I want our budget to go away, but should you be paid like $25 or $50?
I don't
not
think
to
you
go out?
can.
No?
I
We
don't think
can't
you
do
can.
that?
If you're appointed to, I could be totally wrong, but if you're appointed to a board, a
Yeah.
committee, I don't think
You
you
have
can
to be paid for that side work, okay,
I'm paddling for exercise anyhow, so
okay,
it's, thank you, but,
okay,
yeah, it's no bother.
okay.
Puts purpose into my,
No,
I just feel badly because I'm not doing it, and it's like always going to rest on 2 or 3 people.
okay, we all bring special
Okay,
approaches to the community.
And nobody's on
Thank you.
break right now, so it's
not too,
common.
yeah, it's caught, yeah,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
good.
It's just low.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, is it ever?
Horrible.
Yeah, I found a new rock.
Oh, no.
Where did you find it?
Well, with my kayak, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was new to me. Along
Surface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shore frontage.
Louis out for some of the ones we thought are most egregious.
Are those red ones on?
Yeah, yeah,
It must have been about,
yeah.
Above water.
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
it couldn't be that far below because your kayak doesn't draw anything.
well, it was about maybe a half inch higher.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts on invasives or?
I can present about the Lake Symposium, which included salmon invasives.
Oh,
Or
that'd
we
be-
can talk about that later.
No, I mean, no, it's good.
Yeah, just quickly, I'm not sure if anyone else was able to attend.
I was at a meeting.
These are good symposiums. They're put out by the state, there's a professor, Teodoro, gosh, I'm forgetting her name, but it's well organized, well done. It's about 2 hours of a Zoom call. But this one included, kind of a state of the lakes, my expression, talks by the president of Connecticut Federation of Lakes with very serious warnings about, well, two main things, spread of hydrilla and wake boats. And the 2 points he made about wake boats, I think will be ones for us to emphasize, and that's erosion and kicking up sediment. But he had 15 or 20 slides, and I think those will be posted. They're worth going through. It's good.
Okay.
Good for us. And since his role is to sound a little dire, but I think the opposite of that is complacency, and that's a real serious problem if the public and the various boards are complacent. So that's worth listening to. And the other thing that we need to attend to before spring is more on wake boats and horsepower, and maybe we can talk about that later in this meeting.
Yeah.
And then there were two women from the state deep or subcommittee, doesn't catch all the details. They present a lot of background on water quality measurements. And it's the same sort of background that you can get if you read the reports we have from Yale, describing how you measure various things and what you're looking for. They described a volunteer program for measuring water quality, and that's fairly extensive. So quite a bit of water quality measurements is going on. The state has a relatively new database for water quality measurements. If you could perhaps ask Andrew if we want to contribute to that, the data that we've been getting over the years. And I don't know how hard that would be to transcribe into there, but just a thought. And then what struck me is at the end of the meeting, there are 3 or 4 members presenting on behalf of their lakes. And of course, these were the kind of most gung-ho people to present, so they sounded quite gung-ho. Like one was a retired engineer who's just taking all of his engineering expertise to water quality measurements and graphs and so forth. But I was impressed that other lakes are serious about water quality and measuring stream inputs as we're doing now. So it'd be good to sort of stay abreast of that. And also, what I didn't think to ask at the time is how are they getting their measurements? And are they getting into things that we've talked about like boron and NutraSweet to try to see if sewers are leaking? And then there's some discussion of cyanobacteria, which is showing up certain lakes. Those are just a quick note.
Which bacteria?
Oh, cyanobacteria.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of its own non-animal plant. It's kind of its own family. Slimy growths on the water. The main concern is if water quality is bad, they can bloom and then they can release toxins.
Right.
That can hurt pets and people, I guess. But the slides will probably be posted online. That was requested at the end of the meeting. And these are 2 hour Zoom calls and, you know, a lot of people are eating dinner. That's all right.
Well, thank you. No, that's
Yeah,
helpful.
thank you so much.
I'd like to, I'd like to see the slides. That would be
Mhm.
good to go through. Actually, we're moving, sort of the next topic is water quality. I talked to, well, I didn't talk, I emailed back and forth with Andrew. He has one more sampling to do in November, and I'm gonna try to arrange, arrange to meet with him so we can give him our final samples, or our samples from the tributaries.
Yep.
He told me that right now Yale is leaning towards not sampling next year, but that's not set in stone. And he suggested,
Definite.
no, well, he wasn't sure. They didn't know quite what the funding was.
Okay.
I sent him another email and I hadn't gotten a response yet back about, well, if we took samples, could Yale analyze them for us?
Mhm.
Separately, I searched for people that do water quality testing. I'm really interested to talk to the people that presented, but Pond and Lake does it, and I emailed Nick McMahon, and he told me that they do sampling, but they don't do report, and they would give us the information, but they're not going to write a 25-page report like Yale did.
And don't we need that for our permit?
We need to test the water. I don't know if we need, I don't know the level of analysis we have. That's a fair point. Yeah, we do. Well, we can give them what we got. And, if we can't get a comprehensive report like that, we'll give them what, right now, at least we have from their reports, and actually, that was the question for you. It seemed to me we had a basis for watching the trend lines and what to look for.
Yeah. And, following the reports over the years, they're fairly repetitive.
Yeah.
That's good. It means
Yeah.
there aren't dramatic changes, so I'm not being critical of that. And they have trends over the years, so if we only got measurements without report, I think we could write our own report, or I could probably write it and say, this is what we measured, this is how they compare to last year in particular. We draw the same conclusions, or based on the table from last year's report, we're now in a different chart, is that something like that? So not that we would pretend to be experts, but we could at least sort of extrapolate from where we were. And another question maybe for Andrew is, ideally, we get the full range of what he measured, which I would say the Cadillac set of measurements. But there are a lot of things that he didn't really draw conclusions on, but they haven't changed over the years, fluoride, bromide, and so forth. And so if we could ask, if we got a subset of the most important ones, what would those be? And would that be 80% of the value or 90% of the value?
Okay.
And we don't want that to sound like, we don't need all of that fancy stuff. We just want to say, if we're having trouble finding measurements, what are the key ones and what might we want to add? And that would help set us up, I think.
Okay.
Do you have the existing reports in a editable format so that if we get to a point where you have to write the next report, you could just grab stuff out of the old report and clone it, or use tables that they have
We have PDFs.
instead of having to write from scratch?
Right. I wouldn't be writing 25 pages. I would be referencing to previous. So I wouldn't want to look like I'm the new Andrew or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But you might want to
Yeah.
take some of that instead of having to create it from scratch.
I guess one thing with Andrew, I don't know if potentially retiring or anything like that. I think we want to make sure, do we have everything as Word document?
I think that's a really good point. I think when we talked with Andrew, he is still there. He's moved to Albany with his wife. But he's still at Yale 2 days a week. I don't know how much longer that's for. It's at least through November.
Right.
I think when we meet with him, we should ask him for, he did give us the basically all the data at one point, right?
Right.
In an Excel, I think.
And I'm not sure where that is, because I've switched computers.
I have it,
You have, okay.
yeah.
Well, it'd be good to review what we have, and to your point, just, because he might retire at some point, so.
Yeah, if we could get a Word document, I mean, you can always convert an Adobe document, a PDF
Right.
to Word, but it's always a little bitchy.
Yep.
So, no, that's a very good point. And the cost of Pond and Lake didn't seem that terrible. It was like $500 a sample. So,
Set of samples, or?
no, it's per trip.
Oh.
But I think so they sample, if they sample once a month from May to November, that'd be $6,000. And right now our budget's $8,500. So,
Right. We just want to see what their measurement, and are they doing the depth test?
yes, I think we need to, that included both the depth test, one high, one low. But he said if I wanted him to, he can develop a better proposal. So I'll talk to him about doing that.
Great, yeah, just a little more detail, and we can.
Yeah. And what list he's looking for, and we'll see if we can add bromine and NutraSweet. Or what is it?
Boron.
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 So why boron?
Detergents,
Yep, that's what I thought.
and NutraSweet, is
Yeah.
digested, so,
Waste.
Yeah.
markers.
So good. We'll follow through with Andrew, and I'll get back to Pond and Lake.
Yeah, so I've got the 2 sets of samples in our freezer, and just, let me know.
I will.
I don't think Mary made soup out of them yet.
Ice cubes for Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay. Patrol boat operations, there's not much to say. The boat's been pulled and has been put away.
It's stored for the winter now.
Stored for the winter,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, it gets wrapped at Reynolds and then taken to the,
Old line, public yard.
public yard. Yeah. And I was talking to Sonny, or I was texting with him, and he is coming back next year, so that's good.
Good. You.
Yeah. Moving along, discussion on wake serving. Candace and I talked to Martha about a couple of things. One of that included how we would do I explained the wake problem and the need for ordinances and fines. And in short, her solution was pretty simple, but actually might be effective in that she said what they do with other fines is they'll take a picture where their police officer isn't available, right? So if our patrol boat person took a picture of the wake boat, you have the numbers, took a picture and the time and the boat itself, we could present that to our local police force, and they can track down the boat and track down the people on the boat and issue the fine. So it would be so we could theoretically enforce
She
an
would enforce
ordinance.
that.
Yes, it'd be a town ordinance. It'd be the equivalent of a parking fine or whatever other fines the town imposes.
Let's put in a new ordinance. The first step would be to.
Oh, we'd have to go through the whole ordinance process and the public hearing and big meeting here and all of that, but before we went through all of that, I mean, there's a lot of steps before we go through all that, and if we want to, but I also sort of wanted to know if it was gonna be enforceable. I didn't want to go through
Right, exactly.
the whole thing. And,
For not.
for not, and I think the problem with, trying to enforce or the issue with trying to enforce the horsepower, ordinance is that it, hasn't been enforced for years. It's difficult to know.
You can't always see the motor.
You can't always see the motors, so if you could think they might have too much and take a picture of them and ask. But, and there's a number of boats on the lake that have been on for years that are over the limit. So I'm a little, and I haven't talked to an attorney about this, so I'm a little, concerned that if we just didn't do the ordinance for the wake, concerning with wake boats, that if we started doing horsepower, if we're doing selective enforcement, I don't know quite how that would play out.
Would it be sort of like a speed limit thing? Like if you're on the highway and you're 5 miles over the speed limit, you're probably not gonna get caught. But if you're 20 miles over the speed limit, you're probably gonna get caught. So likewise, if you have a horsepower that's blatantly too much, you're gonna get caught. But if you're like, I don't know, it's hard to tell from a distance, then you might be able to get away with it.
And similarly, if it's a pontoon boat with high horsepower that's putting along on an evening cruise, that probably wouldn't elicit a ticket, but if that same boat was tearing around.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But that becomes a gray area. Because you either adhere to the horsepower or not,
Well,
whether they're no wake or they're cruising fast.
but Candace has a good point. Maybe not, because we know that wake boats have to have more than 135 horsepower. So it could be someone's on a wake boat and they're creating a wake that's a problem. You could take a picture of them. This is just seat of my pants. You could take a picture of it and report it and ask them to find out what the horsepower is on the registration.
Mm-hmm. And that would be one way to get them,
Mm-hmm.
because they're breaking the ordinance.
They're breaking an ordinance that's in place now.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you wouldn't need a new ordinance,
Then you wouldn't need an ordinance.
which I think a new ordinance would be a nightmare.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm not,
I
I
don't
could just
want
jump up and down on that one.
action.
And we have an ordinance in place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
have a
might be,
question about the wake surfing. And if we did this, does it matter if the boat happens to be on the Lime side of the lake versus the old Lime? Because Lime doesn't have, we use we don't have a police force. We use the state police.
you do report it to the state police.
Okay.
I mean, either way, it ends up with the state police, because if it goes over to,
Yeah.
you're smirking.
I am, because even though Old Lyme has a police force,
Mm-hmm.
the state police will fill in if there's not an Old Lyme officer available.
Right.
I
But
mean, I think that kind of,
in Old Lyme, the ticket would come from Old Lyme, right?
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
Lyme, it would come from Lyme.
so Tony's question is, does the, presumably the ticket would originate with the patrol boat. So now we have to figure out whether he's sending it to Lyme or Old Lyme. That seems arcane.
Well, hopefully there's a GPS on this picture,
I
on
mean,
this
I don't
photograph.
think it really matters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't
No.
think so either.
Either way,
The patrol boat is employed by both towns,
Right.
Yeah.
services both
Yeah.
towns.
Right.
And the patrol boat operator would be the one that is gathering the evidence.
I could just see somebody using that as an excuse. Oh, you sent, Old Lyme's trying to give me a fine, but my boat was in Lyme all day long,
Yeah.
you know?
But if,
Well,
if they're doing the wake,
Mm-hmm.
they're
They got
they're
those.
crossing,
all over.
because they're gonna go,
They're all
because they can only go in two directions.
Okay.
and I mean,
so you say the wake boats requires more distance than
Absolutely.
east-west.
Okay,
will
so
allow.
they're all over the lake.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean, back to the question of why are we enforcing now? I mean, we've been on the lake 8 years, and 8 years ago, I didn't notice the really loud, I'll use the term obnoxious boats. And that to me has gone up recently. Maybe I'm just become more sensitive, but the really loud jet skis, the really loud high horsepower motors. And so why wasn't it enforced years ago? Well, it was there in case it became a problem, but it really wasn't a problem. And
Mhm,
now it is a problem.
mhm.
well, no, it had been a problem.
yeah.
And that's why they enforced it, and they used to have a police officer on the lake that could enforce it and write tickets.
Really?
Yeah, back in the 80s, they had a police officer.
I heard that from Mike
Yeah,
Secord.
yeah. And he would write tickets and,
Mhm.
he lived over here.
So
Well,
that's,
that's probably why that was the case, right? Because
Yeah.
it was handy for him.
Yeah.
to
Uh,
Go to work by just tooling around the lake.
I mean, I think, to me, what the fine isn't as important as the deterrent.
Yeah.
mhm.
Once people find out
It
that if they
would-
go out and do that, somebody's watching, that this is not a lake you want to go do that.
And they have authority.
To do that,
something.
yeah, because it's a local ordinance.
Right, because right now it's like, oh, they have no authority.
Yeah.
They want to go do whatever I want.
Well, we need to talk this over more, but I think maybe that's an avenue. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So how does word get out? Like, say next June, you ticket like 3 people, and we're hoping that word gets out
Word would get out.
that they got.
Oh, it would take 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be like wildfire.
All those people that party down at my end of the lake,
Mhm.
they'd go around like wildfire right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, see, I'm not. That's all. It just like twists my mind because when I'm out there, it's pretty quiet.
Oh, but no.
Everyone knows everything.
Yeah, no, it'll,
So, are the wakeboarders going to be? Are they mostly people who live on the lake, or are they?
No.
If I'm thinking of people coming from other parts of the state, looking for a place to wakeboard,
yeah.
they come here because
Okay.
I don't know how they heard about it, but they end up here. They go wakeboarding. They get ticketed. And how does the party at your end of the lake find out that this person from
Because
Litchfield
we
got
all know
ticketed?
people. We all know people.
Yeah, I think it would get,
And in 5 minutes, I tell one person.
Oh, okay, so there you
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
and there are 1 or 2 boats, there's been 2 boats that are on the lake that have tried it, so it'll deter them.
So then we don't really have to actually issue a ticket. All we have to do is have her tell our girl, somebody came in from Litchfield and got ticketed.
But she doesn't want to lie. Better to
No, I
actually
think, yeah.
ticket them.
Because I have seen, because I'm out there all the time, and there are more visitors this year than I've ever seen.
I wonder why that is.
I wonder if it's because other lakes are
Pushing them.
invasive, well, or loaded with invasives or something. Or so they go to a cleaner lake.
places, or somehow
Yes.
making it,
Yeah.
because I went to a party up on, what's the lake in Moodus? Bantam? No,
Maybe.
Bashan.
Station, that, something like that, yeah.
I was up there, and they were like half a step ahead of us, because they had started to have wakeboarders, and their Rogers Lake, or their Lake Authority was beating and actually really trying to put the screws down
Mm-hmm.
on the wakeboarders.
Mhm.
So if there's 3 other lakes that are half a step ahead of us and are kicking those people out, they're getting pushed.
They come to us.
Yeah,
And I don't think we're their first choice, because we're a lot smaller than
Small.
Nation.
yeah, you
Mhm.
can't
And like,
really get a
To
good
your
ride.
point,
Yeah,
you know, as soon as you get up speed, you're at the other side.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I never could figure out how you could ice boat on our lake.
I know.
They do it,
They
I
do
do
it.
it.
They do
because
it.
they can turn on a dime.
This winter, they did it.
Yeah, it's
They're-
amazing.
Well, the hulls have 2,
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't freeze at all.
No. I've been here 14 years. It's been twice.
Yeah.
Do we know with the horsepower ordinance whether the fine can be increased to bring it up with inflation?
I think the fine amount is in the ordinance, isn't it?
It's in the ordinance, so
$100?
it's $100.
Yeah.
I think if you change an ordinance, you gotta go for a town meeting on ordinances. I mean, we can give it a shot,
And then
but
you have to go for a vote.
you gotta go for a vote.
I mean, you saw what happened when they tried to change the ordinances on the buggies down at the beach.
Oh, the
The
golf
golf carts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was like
that was,
a show.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
But if we go for a new ordinance with wake boats, that, there, I think the amount would have to be a lot more than $100. They might just view that as a badge of honor. That would save the cost of admission.
Right,
To run one of those boats is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you, yeah, but you're not gonna wanna do that. If you know you're gonna, once the patrol boat identifies your boat,
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
I mean, he's gonna,
Get you every time.
every time you come out, he's gonna hit you with $100.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time, yeah, it might be the cost of admission, but after a while, it get kind of old.
mhm.
I don't know.
I agree with that.
I think maybe as a first step, or one, we should prove out our thesis that we could do this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, try it to see if we can sort of nip the problem in the bud next spring or next summer before it starts. Because we can go through the new ordinance on wake boats if we need to, if it's the problem gets that big, and I think we'll get support, but it's not an easy path. There will be a lot of pushback. People come out of the rig work, just, you're changing the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on this lake forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They might not even have a boat, they might not know even what wake boating is, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh, you can't.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Do we put anything in next Memorial Day's newsletter or no? Well, I guess we'll
What would
cross
we
that
put?
bridge.
I think that's a TBD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we
Please don't
created-
wakeboard.
Yes,
Like it.
yes.
if
It will
we-
damage your lake. Your
I
lake
guess
of
you
love.
could put a appeal, but the people who are wakeboarding,
boat,
Wake,
Lake surfing.
they're not gonna.
Wake
pay
surfing.
attention to that.
Mhm.
they don't
And-
care.
To my other example, the people coming from other towns aren't even gonna see your newsletter.
Right, right.
Right, yeah, fair
Right.
point.
when we had the patrol boat people present last year on their experiences, one person gained authority in the eyes of the other boaters. He just went like this to them.
Mhm.
They quit doing whatever they're doing.
That's
So
true.
that
That's true.
We're talking about taking real pictures now for.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty much what they were suspecting.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can do that, then we can definitely include something in the newsletter that if you see an infraction, the patrol boat's gonna take a picture and submit it,
Mm-hmm.
and you could potentially end up with a ticket from the state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Yep, it's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to pursue with the town attorney whether we can enforce the horsepower limit, at least for people who are really going well beyond.
Off the charts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think that's exactly what we're talking about, is that if someone's,
The problem is not everyone, there's inboard motors and you're not gonna see what the horsepower is. You can assume that, oh, that's definitely higher than 135, but you don't know for a fact.
Could
Well,
we ask them?
well, no, well, they don't have to tell you, but you can try the registration, or, like the guy that's got the Mastercraft ski boat,
Yes.
they don't make one of those less than 250 or
Yeah.
300.
There's been several boats out there that are like, oh, I know nothing about boats except how to drive it, and it's way higher.
Yeah.
And is it, did I hear a conversation that people don't necessarily put the correct horsepower on their registration?
So Dick says that,
Ah.
but I don't know how that could happen, because as a boat owner that has a motor that has to be registered, when you buy it, it says right on the registration what it is, and I can't alter that where I bought it fills that out and it goes to DMV.
Could you switch your motor?
You would have to repower it, yes. You would have
Yeah, I'm
to,
trying to remember, because I know our launches are certainly well within the limit.
Mhm.
But I know that the school does the AD does the registration for us. I'm 99% sure she does not march down to the lake and check the horsepower on those boats. She just shows up with stickers.
but anybody that's got a boat that could be a wake boat, it's gonna be a relatively new boat.
Yes,
So it will have had a state issued
can
registration.
have a registration.
And
'Cause it looks just like.
somebody would have had to buy a boat with a low horsepower engine in it, repower it, and not show what the horsepower was.
Right.
And I would be very surprised if someone went
Yeah,
through.
Yeah, that seems.
I don't know how you
Yeah.
could do it, and I didn't want to argue with it.
I see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but no, you know,
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
If we do have a police officer on the patrol boat who asks someone, what's your horsepower? And if they lie, that's a serious offense, I should think, lying to a police officer.
If it's a police officer, but if it's a patrol boat operator,
Right, I'm just saying, if we did have,
Right, but we have never been able to get a policeman
Well,
on,
right,
maybe back in the eighties.
in the eighties, but now the last.
I
But-
think back
but
in the
back
age,
up a
they
little bit,
have those
because-
5 horsepower motors.
How many people come on this lake and actually know what the limit is? You know, like, so when you're stopped
it says it on the
It's
sign.
on the sign,
on the boat launch,
and everyone, who
launch.
lives- yeah, it's at the boat launch, and then anyone who lives here knows what it
I'm
is.
sure that locals
But
know.
the visitors, it's on the sign.
Okay, so
they're,
it's on the sign, so.
And it's also in the, I'm sorry, but the,
that magazine or that
the,
publication,
yeah, the
the fishing
state
thing.
puts out a boating
Yeah.
publication every year.
We don't have it.
And it
So-
lists all the regulations.
So when the patrol boat operator stops somebody from out of town, they probably know what the correct answer is.
Right.
To what is the horsepower on your boat.
Well, they should.
It's good.
Well, no, I mean, they probably know the answer that's going to get them off, right?
If they read the sign and if they read.
All they have to do is read the
Yeah.
sign of the magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and they might not know.
Mhm.
Oh, I've got 150 horsepower. Oh, do you realize you're 15 horsepower
Yeah.
over and blah, blah, blah.
well, I mean, technically, because this happens with the fishing boats, some of those bass boats have 250 horsepower,
Wow.
Yeah.
but they're allowed to operate on the lake if they go with their trolling motors.
Mhm, mhm.
Yes.
So they have two different motors.
Yeah, they have a little electric motor.
Okay, I've seen the little tiny electric thing.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, that's what they use to get it on the lake.
So that seems fine,
Yeah.
as long as they're.
Yeah, no, it is.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think, you know, in the end, right now, we're only really talking about a handful so far of
Excuse me.
potential issues or, you know, people that are trying to do this activity. So maybe we can be in a position to deal with them and see if that's enough to carry it going forward. And then if not, we'll go to the next step.
And they'll talk to their friends and
Exactly.
tell them how miserable
It
it
is out here, right?
Wait
That's a
for it.
horrible.
Terrible place to be.
They're mean there.
Mhm. Right.
Stay out of that bubble.
Okay. Well, we can continue to talk about this and refine it, and we'll get back and see about enforcing the horsepower limit.
Right, you were going to check with who?
It's tough to get to Weber, but I'm gonna see if I can talk to him.
Is he the policeman?
He's a state trooper.
Not,
I've dealt with him a couple times. He's luckily on this kind of business.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Patrol boat docking in Haynes Park. Again, thanks for being on the call. We did have our meeting with Parks and Rec. Candace was there, and I was there on Zoom. Basically, they're willing to listen to it and understand the principle. The chairman mentioned, had a list of like 8 questions he had that needed follow through.
The chairman of,
The Parks and Rec Commission,
so
Bob Dunn.
there's a commission for that? There's not just someone who runs it?
There is a guy that runs it.
They have an employee, who's Don Bugby,
Yeah,
but,
Yeah.
um,
I didn't know there was
there's
another
also,
body.
yeah, there's an appointed commission.
Okay.
And, I mean, they asked questions. They wanted to know if our boat was gonna be docked there, where does it get stored in the winter? We could answer that. Number of things along those lines. So we're running, rather than running you guys through all of that, we're running down those issues. But I think there's potential for us to go
Is there
through and get
anything
this done.
really unusual?
There was a question if the dock was wide enough. Candace got because we were proposing 45 inches, and it was suggested it should be 48 to 60 inches. It'll almost double the cost to go to 60 inches.
Why would it have to be 5 feet?
Well, that's a very good question.
So Bob had gone onto the website of another vendor, and they had they had a dock designer tool. And they said, for boats this size, we recommend docks that are between, 4 and, I think, 8 feet wide. And so he just copied that chart and said, your dock should be at least 4 feet wide. And I was like, but that's because Easy Dock says so, and they're trying to sell.
They're trying to sell the mud.
Yeah, look at you.
So the narrowest dock that Easy Dock sells is 60 inches. So I priced out a dock 60 by 10 feet, and it came out twice as expensive as our 45 by 10 feet.
What is the other one that makes that same brand? Is it Candlelock?
Connect-A-Dock,
Maybe.
that's the one we're buying.
That's the one we're looking at, yeah.
All right.
The other question was gas storage. It looks like we're going to have to share gas storage in the boathouse because we're not supposed
So
to
we can't
store
have
gas.
box.
We can't have a box outside.
Okay.
I
Would
mean,
we be able to get in there? Would it be locked if at some time we wanted the gas? Maybe.
We can give your employee, or the school can give your employee a key and a code, and then they can get in whenever they need to.
Okay.
and we'll have to arrange.
I think there are probably about 35 keys and codes out there between coaches, athletes,
Okay.
maintenance,
Mhm.
so adding another one is really trivial.
Okay.
They questioned if we needed deep permitting, and I explained that we don't need,
No.
we don't need deep permitting. They wondered if the town of Lyme would contribute.
Okay,
Well,
that makes sense.
well, already the amount is cut in half because the schools
Right.
agreed to pick up half. They wondered if, Lyme would pick up part of the cost because they pick up half the cost of Rogers Lake Authority.
Mhm.
I would be willing to go talk to a select person there. But I asked finance today, or the accounting manager today, if this is an expense item or
Capital.
a capital item, because it makes it a little bit different. Also, I'm not sure, I don't think Lyme has the same rule or ability that the town of Old Lyme has, that the select people can vote, or finance can go to an extra $10,000 or $20,000 without going back for a vote. Is that true?
Yes, Board of Selectmen primarily makes the decision, and then the selectmen would send a recommendation to Board of Finance. And anything under $20,000, those two bodies can approve without going to town meeting. And I don't know if that's a state statute or whether that's unique to Old Lyme. I really don't know how Lyme works.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lyme can do that. I think I remember.
I just feel like $2,500 is like not worth sweating.
No, I mean, if it comes to, the answer comes back that it's expense. I think we have that in our, we can probably
We can figure
push
that
it
out
into
in
our budget now and Lime would pick it up. Well, no, not the full 5,000, no. Or 4,000.
I'm not following you.
Well,
You thought you could put it in the Rogers Lake Authority budget,
Budget, right.
but that comes out of, your budget is shared between.
Lime and Oak.
Yeah, it's split, 50/50.
Got it.
So,
Yeah, so that might be a way to work around,
yeah. If,
but your budget,
We're only talking 5,000 because it was like $10,000 total, right?
right, exactly. But you won't get a new budget until July.
no, but I'm thinking, this is bad to do with a finance person here. Depending upon how we expect, we have $3,000 in miscellaneous and other.
So you think he could?
We'll
move
pick up
money around?
well, if we do this, we won't have the docking fee of $450. We might be able to move a little bit around and come up with it ourselves.
Probably won't come to that.
Yes,
I just think that it's so petty to try and split.
Yeah.
$5,000 between the two towns. It's like, anyway.
I mean, it's also, if it's a capital item, it's another ball of wax for Lime, because normally they wouldn't participate.
Well, and I think the other point that was raised was that if it's a dock, if how much interest does Lime have in paying for a dock that's located in Old Lyme?
But they pay for half the boat. And
Expenses of the boat, actually, that raised a question for the future of
because
what
if we get a new boat,
we
they're
need
gonna
a
be
boat.
paying
How
half
big-
of that.
I don't know, we gotta figure that out, I would guess so,
I
yeah,
would think so.
yeah. So, yes, I would think so.
So about 5,000 is the crew, what's it called? The
The dock.
OLRA is not paying anything. It's split between Regional School District 18
Mhm.
and, the town.
Or basically, and Rogers Lake Authority, which is in the town.
I
depending
thought
upon how-
the crew, there was, well, I guess that's the school.
So the contribution that OLRA is making at this point is that, you can store all the gas and whatnot in the boathouse,
Right.
which has a value of about $1,000.
Mhm.
OLRA also bought both of the existing docks there
Mhm.
at a cost of about $50,000.
Eyeball,
Excuse me?
50?
50.
Wow.
I think they got ripped off.
Well, if the 60 by 10 dock was 16,000, and those two docks are
60, 70,
they're 75 feet
Feet.
long,
yeah.
it seems like it scales up.
Mm.
I mean, docks, I can't comment on a grand scale about what docks cost and whether it's, reasonable, but the company that we're working with does give you a 10% discount if you can apply membership number for US Rowing, which we have. Just worth, something,
Yeah, it's $900,
at $850.
yeah.
Any news on the question of the riparian rights that was discussed at the special meeting?
No. Candace wrote a letter to Martha, an email asking her Martha's aware of the issue and is gonna talk with one of the attorneys.
She indicated that she forwarded the information to the town attorney.
Okay.
So we also sent 2 emails to the owner of the property at One Town Woods, and we've heard nothing from them back. And that's been quite a while,
Yeah.
just a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I just like people answering email and so frustrating. It's like ready to just-
Before ordering, do you need a clear plan B if it were necessary, where you would re-angle the dock or?
I don't know if you can re-angle it because the other two docks are needed for the rowing. And if it was re-angled, doesn't it get in the way?
I'd have to look back at the drawing.
I don't know if there's enough space
Yeah.
to re-angle.
I think we've got to get an answer on the riparian rights. And then if that comes back negative, for lack of a better term, or not in our favor, then we,
But
then
it
we've
works
got to,
both ways. So the town has this much space, so we'd go out this way, the town, and then these people would go this way. So there's an area that they'd have to share. The town.
So the question
Yeah.
is whether the left corner of the dock sticks into the riparian right to the property at One Town Way. And on the face of it, if they said, we feel that this is, limiting our rights or we have a problem with it, I think the next step would be to say, can we essentially buy you off? Like,
Yes,
can
yes.
we give you some money
Yeah.
Right,
to make you go away?
exactly.
so this is the boundary line.
Yeah.
And my understanding, which has no basis in law,
This-
is that it follows the angle, your riparian rights follow the angle of your property line. So, and Peter mentioned this as well.
Yeah,
So
so that's that one.
it goes out that way. So if that's true, we're clear.
Okay.
If it is perpendicular to the shoreline, then we have the slight problem.
Okay.
It's about 5 feet.
So that's the decision that needs to be made.
That's what we need from an attorney to say how that works in practice.
And is it in front of their attorney right now?
Martha texted me today or yesterday and said, I had sent her an email with that drawing and all the details. And she said she forwarded it to the town attorney to advise us. But, I have no idea what the property owners at One Town Woods have done. I've had no communication with them, whether they looked at it and shrugged and said, we don't care, or whether they called the most expensive attorney they could find, you know.
They don't have any money left after building it.
Well, they're selling their other house, so they'll have plenty of money, don't worry.
The suggestion is that we know the answer to that before we buy the dock. Or
Yeah.
That we have a clear, you know, if this is the case, we can move it over or not, you know, just.
We're not going to buy a dock until we know that
We can install.
we can install.
Right.
So we're not going to do anything until everybody signs off on it.
Right.
We know the riparian right issues, all of that, yeah.
Mhm.
How it's going to get funded, all of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we'll see. What else? I think that's it. Cleanup. I checked with some people. I think we can do a cleanup if necessary. I don't know now if we just wait till spring.
So it's really low right now. Rob said he could put his waders on.
Yeah,
We don't have our boats out of the water.
okay.
But he could put his waders on, he said.
Okay, when I get back, I'll give Rob a call maybe, and we can get a couple of people maybe and see what we can do, because I have waders and
Yeah.
I can put my little boat back in the water.
Does
So-
it winterize the motor?
No.
Okay.
My winterizing of that is to pull it out of the water and make sure all the water's drained out of it. It's 9.9 horsepower. And next spring, I just put the gas back on and pull the ripcord
Let
and
it
it
go.
starts right up. So, yeah, no, it's not a
Are
problem.
you lucky?
Must be a Honda.
It is a Honda.
All right.
It is a Honda. So when I get back, I'll get in contact with you, and maybe we can
Yep.
get a group together. There are no lake events that I know of. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
No
new-
pay dates?
I leave on Saturday and I come back the 22nd.
Of October.
Yes. Well, no, that's fair point.
Greece is pretty nice.
know.
Never been there, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I want to go.
we went for the Olympics in 2000,
Oh, yeah?
96, I think.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, because 2000 was,
But that would have been the 100th anniversary of the,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. How was it?
It was on its best, it was showing its best.
Okay.
You know, it was very, not like we would see it in a normal time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it was a great trip.
Oh, good.
And we haven't heard anything on, from the Lime group, whatever they're called, the letter that we had sent out on the spraying at the guardrails.
No, no
No,
one's gotten
haven't heard
back to us,
anything.
no.
Okay.
I have a question. At one point, I think this was a few months ago, and you might know. They were going, the Haynes Park beautification people, they were gonna talk about dredging.
They
But
still
they're-
are.
They still are talking about it?
I think they're a long ways from putting a shovel in the sand.
Yeah. They asked me if I had any maps, contour maps of the lake that would help in their quest to do this. The ones we have aren't detailed enough. And basically, it's 3 feet from the shoreline out to the island there, so,
But it would have to be recent too, because that changes
yeah.
from year to year.
I did ask one of the, in the spirit of cooperation, I asked the people that did the Asian clam, because they did a lot of spots along Haynes Park. And I was thinking they probably took depth and condition of the bottom at the time. But I haven't heard back from them yet, so I'll ping them again. But
So basically, they're still exploring it, but they're not close to any kind of resolution.
no, I would think the permitting for that is going to be very tricky.
I would think that the funding for that's gonna be even trickier.
Well, that's true too. But that's, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah.
So before they do that, I think a lot of people are gonna ask whether they fixed their goose problem. And I have a picture that I took today. Okay. We sweep the dock every day.
Twice a day, 3 times a day?
Well, I know it gets swept before the kids go out, so that's at least once a day. And it just looks terrible.
Oh, geez,
So
That's not healthy.
we've got a long ways to go.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys know Denise Savageau. She and her husband moved to Old Lyme fairly recently, maybe 5 or 6 years ago from Greenwich. They're both really smart, really engaged people who work on land use, and Denise particularly is a conservation person. And so she has been identified as somebody who might know something about how to control geese. And so I passed her name to Park and Rec a couple of years ago. They didn't do anything with it. And now they think that my impression is they think she's their savior and she was going to figure it all out. I'm not so sure that it's that simple.
And we talked about harvesting before. I mean,
Yes, they talked about harvesting. They got, the subcommittee from Parks and Rec, which is the Haynes Park Improvement, had people from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, down here from Springfield, I think, or someplace in Massachusetts. And they, at the time, were running a way to eradicate geese, basically, by killing them and giving them meat, donating the meat. And there wasn't the immediate political will to bite that bullet, or to go fight that fight.
New Britain tried that and it got shot down in New Britain, so.
Yeah, there was some, like some 8 years.
Was it Bristol?
Yeah, it was Bristol. It was Bristol,
All
but
right.
it's
But
but here's where if we can get the right, water measurements to see what sort of E. coli is in there. Or bacteria, and if we say this came from geese and it's really bad for people, then all of a sudden it's a health issue. And
Yes.
But they
Yeah.
close Haynes Park several times a summer
Right.
because of E. coli.
There's the
Yeah.
proof, there's the proof.
Yeah.
Well,
Not proof.
because
No?
we know that there's bacteria in the water, we don't know where it's coming from. So it could be coming from the geese.
I think actually before you joined us, Joel found a paper that there's a enzyme or a germ or
there's a way to
there's
test
to know that it's to
Yeah.
connect the dots.
a marker there.
Yeah.
That is
But
geese.
there may be, but we haven't done the work to determine.
Correct.
No.
If Ledgely doesn't.
The testing is sort of a generic, and I'm forgetting details, but it's sort of a broad class which would include sources from geese, but it's not pinpointed. So I would suggest that if we really want to deal with geese, we could say, here are the measurements that show it is from geese, it is a health problem. We're going to take care of it by people who ethically collect, euthanize, and the meat goes to
Soup kitchen.
soup kitchens.
Right.
If
Well, I think
people
Parks
say,
and Rec would do that,
well,
not us.
correct.
Okay, the testing.
But that could be a path that would circumvent the people, with heartfelt concerns for the animals, that, you gotta.
Assuming I think the first step in that chain is that the test reveals that the
Yes.
bacteria is coming from the geese.
Yes.
Well,
So there's another concern, that when I spoke with Jim Lampos, he seemed concerned that we could be opening a can of worms if you do the testing
Yeah.
and you find that the bacteria is coming from human waste. Then that would point to aging septic systems around the lake.
Mhm.
And,
Well, then they
I-
should replace them.
no, but
but that's
there's a
easier.
bigger question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Couple of sort of unrelated thoughts there together. Hey, Tom, how are you? You just made it. Just made it.
We're talking about
We're talking about geese poop.
Geese.
Good
luck with that.
yeah. One, since I'm gonna be out looking at water quality people, I'll see if I can find somebody that can also test for E. coli on a more regular basis than Ledgely does it, and for the I'll search back on your paper, the derivatives of what you said.
Yeah.
It was
as you're
attributable
talking
to
here,
geese.
as well.
Mhm.
We've gone through as part of the program for the whole issue we had with, to prove that high levels of the lake were causing problems inland with the septic systems.
Oh, right, yeah.
We went back and they did a bunch of septic work on that, so, I don't know how much of it would be, there wasn't an indication that there was a big outflow of bad septic systems in this community that was causing the problem.
That's good news.
Actually, the way to solve that would be to do some initial testing, not only at Haynes Park, but at the little creek that's over here and a couple of the other right-of-way spots. Actually, we wanted to do that anyhow because when they closed down Haynes Park, people don't know if it's just Haynes Park or it's the whole lake. So it would be helpful to be able to test other parts of the lake
Mhm.
to know if it's the full lake or it's localized to Haynes Park.
I thought Ledgely tested 5 areas and we gave them the 5 areas to test, because
No.
that's what they would test.
They only test Haynes Park. I asked for them to add a couple of right-of-ways,
Right,
and they never did that. I never got on their path. I don't know if it's because it's not a public beach.
Because didn't some kid in one of the right-of-ways,
The skin
the skin
condition.
condition?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But there were geese up there too, actually. That's what
Okay. All right.
Dennis mentioned, that he thought at right-of-way 13, there was a kid that had a skin condition.
Yes,
And there had been a lot of geese around that area at the time.
okay.
And ducks now.
And ducks now, yeah.
There's a
So
lot of dogs.
I think we need to think about that maybe for the budget for next year, put in some not only the new water testing that we may have to do, but an expanded one to do, tests for E. coli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And-
found that paper, the summary concludes, it is recommended that beach managers use microbial source tracking and conduct a quantitative microbial risk assessment to analyze the local impact of Canada geese on microbial water quality during their decision-making process in beach and watershed management.
I could search for that, but if you could send me that again.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
appreciate it. It's in my email somewhere.
But wasn't there something specific that was in the geese waste? Other than microbial?
Well, they're looking for the type of microbial.
But isn't there a name for it?
Well, pathogens of potential concern include, and they list about a dozen Latin names of bacteria.
Oh, I thought it was just one.
But this, if we find that, that wouldn't have come from a septic system probably, right?
Probably. I mean, I think we need to find someone who,
Knows this, or, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And when we asked the person who does the testing currently, they didn't know anything about it.
Right, yeah, they don't do that. No, all they do is they do their E. coli test, they walk out to the same spot at Haynes Park every time and take their test.
And Andrew would know who, he would either know or he would know.
Who might be able to do that? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would think so. Any questions, Tom?
How do you get rid of the cormorants?
I don't know, is there a season for them? They're pooping on my dock.
Out there dumping on my front yard to make these big
Oh,
metals white, looks like old sheet rock that.
yeah, no, it does look like
and
dissolved.
doing your
sweeper.
dock now, too,
Oh, they're doing my dock too, yep. Yeah,
Because I've been shooting at this one.
oh, really?
Yeah.
No. Well,
Did you?
I didn't want to hear that.
No.
In this specific forum. But, you know,
You know, and I'm shooting from way up.
oh, on your deck, yeah.
You know, I've never hit one. You
Yeah.
hear the in the water,
I,
we look around and.
one was on our dock the other day and my grandson walked to about 3 feet of it before it even moved, so they really don't, they don't care. Yeah. No, I don't know why I mean, that dock's been there for 15 years, and this is the first year they've decided to hang out there.
Well, that's because I guess he's not back on my yard. He got the message.
You got the message from you, okay. Yeah.
Should I make a motion to adjourn?
You should make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
So now I end this call, right?
Yes.